Hello, I'm reviewing the Dark Knight Trilogy from 25 to 2012. I give the first one, Batman Begins, from 2005, Batman Begins movie, a 10 out of 10. This movie was not as much cringe as the sequels made. Was the Batman. What I'm trying to say is, I thought the sequels kind of sucked to Batman Begins. I thought most of the stuff, I thought the sequel kind of letdowns to Batman Begins. I give Batman Begins a 10 out of 10, and I give Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises a 8 out of 10, because even though I don't hate them, I'm not a big fan enough of them like I am of the first one with Batman, Christian Bale's Batman. I'm a fan of the first Batman movie with Christian Bale, not of the franchise, though. I hated the sequels, kind of. I thought they were, because they were kind of a letdown from the first one. And I give the sequels, Batman Begins, called The Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises from 2012. And the first sequels from 2008. I give both sequels a 8 out of 10. I mean, they're fine as guilty pleasures to me. I don't mind watching them. This dumb movies for me. The sequels, not Batman Begins. Batman Begins great and all. This is sequels that are just dumb for me. Like, this is too much stupid I can swallow. I just thought it was all, I don't know. It's just like everything about the sequels. I just don't like the sequels. I felt like the sequels weren't made for me. For someone who loved the first Batman Begins movie, you know? I felt like the sequels weren't made for me, is what pisses me off the most. They weren't made for me, but they weren't the best movies like I wanted them to be for sequels. They're a little bit of a letdown compared to Batman Begins. The Batman Begins, I just don't get sick of watching. But the Dark Knight, the sequel to Batman Begins, I feel like I get sick of watching them after a certain point. You know, like, it's kind of like, how you, ever drink Kool-Aid, cherry Kool-Aid, or any Kool-Aid? Okay, ever like Kool-Aid, but you can only drink so much Kool-Aid after a while, you get sick of Kool-Aid. That's what the Dark Knight sequels, that's what the Batman sequels feel like to me with Christopher Nolan sequels. They feel like my next cup of Kool-Aid. But there's only so many times I can drink Kool-Aid before I start to feel sick to my stomach. Or sick of the taste. And want to try something, a different Kool-Aid flavor or something. Or try something that's more appetizing than Kool-Aid. That's what my feelings are to the Dark Knight sequel. It's the Batman trilogy. That's called the Dark Knight trilogy. Those are my feelings to the Batman sequels with Christian Bale, directed by Christopher Nolan. It feels like my next cup of Kool-Aid, your next McDonald's Happy Meal. But you see, fast food comes and goes, so you probably see there's no value in fast food for a reason. Toys. There's no value in fast food toys, probably, for a reason why they stopped making fast food toys. Maybe they still make fast food toys. The point is, Fast food has no value like Kool-Aid. But it's like kind of nonsense that your brain rewards itself for, that says, ooh, me likey. But it's all sweetened sugar and diabetes. Is where the storytelling goes to the Dark Knight sequels with Christian Bale. It feels like diabetes on steroids, if that makes sense. You know, like let's say you're a diabetic, but yet instead of a doctor giving you treatment or suggestions for your diabetes, he decides to give you something that will make you more diabetic faster and kill you faster and gain more weight. Like, I don't know, prednisone or Depakote that can cause weight gain and make you more hungry. So, let's imagine you're a diabetic, you can get more fat if you're on either one. I guess he's like one of those medicines that can get suppress your hunger, you know. So that's what the Dark Knight Trilogy sequel feels like it does to my brain cells. It suppresses my hunger for good quality storytelling. Or for a Batman fan and for a fan of cinema. That's what the Dark Knight Trilogy does in a nutshell that Batman Begins didn't do. Because Batman Begins was actually a fun movie, I thought. I give it a 10 out of 10. I give The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises a 8 out of 10 from 2012 and 2008 flick of The Dark Knight, and the third one, The Dark Knight Rises, I give it 8 out of 10 for a fine guilty pleasure shitfest of a storm. Sequels they are. I don't know what story they're trying to tell. I'm sure the story is more like a window. It's like the story is kind of like window dressing, or no, not window dressing. You know, like the story is like pencil shavings, you know, that you throw away after you sharpen the pencil. That's how much thought is gone into a story with the Dark Knight sequels in the Dark Knight Trilogy. Who likes Transformers 2009 movie Revenge of the Falling? Anybody? I do. I heard a yes. Some people do. I'm sure. There's more than people that are willing to admit that they like that movie. Because I personally think the Revenge of the Falling is the classic cinema writing that the Dark Knight sequels deliver on. Like, I think Revenge of the Falling is fucking brilliant. As good as the Dark Knight sequels that Christopher Nolan came up with Christian Bale as Batman in the Batman sequels called the Dark Knight Trilogy from 2008 to 2000. In 2012, you know how they made sequels to Batman Begins. I thought Batman Begins was awesome. I was looking forward to the sequel, only to get destroyed with all expectations. Thanks for that, Nolan. It made me want to almost burn my Batman Begin copy. And yes, I was a very unhappy child. I lived with abusive parents, my mom and Vinny, who I was living with at the time, who was my mom's boyfriend when Batman Begins came out. And also the Dark Knight sequel came out. I was still living with them. Both of them. For 7 years of my life. And, I was only 5 when I started living with them, and, till 13 when I stopped living with them. Since then, I've lived with my dad. So so the fact that I was a very unhappy child when the first sequel came out to Batman Begins almost made me want to give the Batman Begins from 2008 8 out of 10 from a 3 out of 10. Because my inner child was that pissed off as a Batman fan from Batman Begins. Because I thought Batman sucked in the sequels of Batman Begins. He was a shitty hero. An incompetent one, written as I found. And not fretting one, either. Or a dumb one. I don't know. That's why I like the sequels to Batman Begins. I thought Batman in the Dark Knight sequels has as much brains as Patrick Star from SpongeBob does. And I believe Patrick has a bigger IQ than Batman right now. Bruce Wayne. After seeing the Dark Knight trilogy. I believe the retired policeman, the guy that plays the retired policeman, has a bigger IQ than Batman Begins. Christian Bale, Batman, that started in Batman Begins, and his IQ dropped way down in 2008, the Dark Knight movie, and continued dropping down in 2012 after he came out of retirement in the plot of Batman movie called The Dark Knight Rises. Now, you may be wondering, what am I going to say next? Well, I'm a Batman fan. As a Batman fan, I really hate that they make Batman no one thought it was a good idea to make Batman a fucking retard. You know, more bronze than brains. Is what Nolan did with the Batman sequels. Thanks for that, Nolan. Thanks for getting my fucking hopes up and taking a shit on my child, you fucking retard. Filmmaker. God damn it. To me, I thought the Dark Knight sequel was a bigger letdown than Superman Returns. But hey, I was one of those idiots as a kid that originally hated Superman 3, but once I saw Superman, but I originally, at some point I hated Superman 3 and 4, but then when I saw Superman Returns, I realized I was an ungrateful bastard. But then, when I saw Batman Begins, the follow to Batman Begins of The Dark Knight, I realized I was even bigger jerk to Christopher Reeve and Brandon Routh than I ever could imagine in my head. Because I did obsess over all those movies as a kid. And obsess and punish myself with my obsessing. As a child, when those movies came out, I was very an unhappy child because I was living in an abusive home for 7 years of my life under my mom and my biological mom and Vinny, who was my mom's boyfriend that she left for dad for this person. And I lived with them for 7 years from starting at age 5 and then at age 13 in 2010 is when I left. And stopped living with them and lived with my dad since. And, so, anyway, where was I going to Batman Begins? Batman Begins is a great movie. 10 out of 10. The Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, on the other hand, not so much. They're fast food movies. Like a fast food meal is what they feel like. Drive-through main food, it feels like. Drive-through from McDonald's, the best kind of drive-through. The fast kind. It feels like a drive-through for McDonald's, the Dark Knight sequels feel like. With getting a McDonald's burger. And biting into that delicious burger, a McDonald's fast food cheeseburger. Is what the Dark Knight sequels feel like, to me. So, that's why I give Batman Begins a 10 out of 10 and the sequels to Batman Begins a 8 out of 10. For a guilty pleasure ride nonsense ride of shitfest writing. Thank you, Nolan, and your writers. And that's my review on Batman Begins and the entire Dark Knight trilogy. Goodbye! That's my review. Hope you enjoy this review, my audience, watching my content. And hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe if you want to. Subscribe under my video. And hit the subscribe button. I mean, subscribe to my video, my channel, and hit the thumbs up button. And comment below if you want to. Comment below under my YouTube channel. And tell me what you think on this review, if you enjoyed it or not. Okay? But whatever. Bye.